What's up, nerds? Welcome back to the Next Gen Nerd Podcast. Glad to have you with us as we get ready to jump into, I would say probably a lesser known book, a recommendation that a friend of mine, who's going to be our interviewee on the show today, we're going to be talking about The Dark Glory War by Michael Stackpole, and I originally had this interview that was longer. I shortened it to remove a significant portion of the plot so that you can listen to this, get excited by the possibility of reading the book, check the book out, and then if you would like to hear kind of all of the spoilers and stuff like that, I'll have another file that'll drop probably in a few days with the entire interview. But I want you to be able to get kind of a glimpse into this world. And so look forward to hearing more about the book, The Dark Glory War, in just a little bit. Before we jump into the interview, though, I've got some nerdy recommendations. And again, trying to align these somewhat with the book. The problem is lately, a lot of things I've been consuming are space-based, and this is definitely fantasy. And so gonna have to dig a little further back. Although I will share one thing that I'm excited about. I haven't started yet. I just found it right before I started recording the show. I will probably talk about it on a future episode. But let me go over the reading portion. So if you like reading, if you listen to this and you say, yeah, I've read that, I enjoyed that, I want more like it, here's some suggestions. If you have read some of these suggestions I've made and you like those, you'll likely enjoy The Dark Glory War. So my three recommendations. First one is an oldie. It's The Crystal Shard. I read this when I was in late middle school, and it's written by R.A. Salvatore. It follows Drizzt Do'Urden. It was the first book released in the series, to my knowledge, but there are 3 prequels that just follow Drizzt, and so this is the first one in the Icewind Dale trilogy. And so I would recommend picking it up. I read this again recently and enjoyed it. You learn about Crenn Cinnabon and the whole team, Drizzt Do'Urden, Catti-brie, Brunner Battlehammer, Wolfgar, all of them, Regis. And so it is definitely a good, fun, fantasy, epic, fun thing. And it's the beginning of a trilogy, the beginning of like a 20-book series. And so definitely check it out. The Crystal Shard, first book of the Icewind Dale trilogy by R.A. Salvatore. So check that one out. The second is a comic series that I've referenced before, even had an episode on it a while back with Todd Turner, and that's Birthright. Birthright is a comic series, limited run. It's 100 issues, 10 trades. So you can buy the trades that are like several comics compacted into one book. 10 of them. Great story about a boy who is taken from this world and put into another much harsher fantasy style world and has to survive there. Excellent series. I don't want to go into a whole lot there. In fact, chances are if you like comics and we're friends, I probably have given you the first volume to read or maybe even bought it as a gift. So like I really enjoyed that series. If you're looking for comics to read that are not superhero comics but are really good comics, and I have that not just of my own opinion, but several I've talked to, Birthright is definitely worth picking up. I remember the cover. It looks like Conan the Barbarian on the front of it. So check out Birthright. Excellent series. And if you are friends with me, you can always say, hey, can I borrow that first volume? And I'd be happy to lend you the first volume. Lend. I don't want to buy another copy, but I'll lend it to you so you can read it and enjoy it. And finally, when we're talking about fantasy, we're talking about my favorite books, I have to go back to the Wingfeather Saga. And the first book of that saga is On the Edge of the Dark Sea of Darkness by Andrew Peterson, a Lake Butler alum. And so, oh my gosh, such a great story about 3 siblings, 3 children who have to save the world. And it is just very well written. People that read have told me it's some of their favorite books. People that don't read say it's the only books they want to read. So great series. Andrew Peterson. The name of the series is the Wingfeather Saga. The name of the first book is On the Edge of the Dark Sea of Darkness. Excellent book. My goodness, if they could come up with some really fair priced merch, especially like Funko Pops, I think I might buy the whole set. I love those books. In fact, I re-downloaded the first one to listen to again soon because I just really enjoyed them. And I mentioned one that I have not started reading, so I can't really recommend it yet, so I don't know if it's going to be good, but it's written by an author that I've been listening to their books nonstop, narrated by the same narrator of that series, and it seems very similar to the series that I'm enjoying, except it's set in a fantasy universe. And so I think the book is Divergence by Craig Allinson. It's either Divergence, Insurgence, Resurgence, something Urgence by Craig Allinson. Craig Allinson wrote the Expeditionary Force series. I think I just finished book 7 or 8, Renegades, and I really enjoy it. It's got a good mix of humor and technical sci-fi and action. I'm really enjoying that series. And so now he has a fantasy series. He's only on book 5 of, so I can easily catch up. And the first one is included if you have Audible. If you already have it, it's a free book that you can download from the first book, which is what I'm gonna start doing kind of right after I'm done recording this. So there are some recommendations to read. To watch, Carrie and I just finished watching The Witcher on Netflix. We watched it through VidAngel, which was so good to be able to just remove the things that we did not want to see to enjoy the story. And Carrie enjoyed it so much, she's like, we need to get the audiobook so we can listen to audiobooks to enjoy the story. And from what I've heard, the books are better than the Netflix series. Go figure, you know. But we really enjoyed it. And we enjoy a good fantasy series. We like damsels in distress and swords and magic and dragons and all those things. So we just finished that, and it was really good. If you're wanting to watch it, I would encourage you to watch it on VidAngel. If you need help setting up VidAngel, contact me. I think it's a great way to enjoy content without having to compromise. And so, yeah, let me know. Happy to help you with all that. And finally, not something I've watched recently, but something I would watch today. If someone said, hey, do you want to watch this movie? And there are pieces of it that I thought of in the book we're talking about today. And that's the movie Stardust, which is based on the Neil Gaiman book Stardust. And in one of the few cases where I think the movie was better than the book, but that could be just me. And really it was the ending. The ending was much sadder in the book. And so, but I really enjoyed the movie. And it stars, what's his last name? Is it Charlie Cox? Daredevil. Whoever plays Daredevil on Disney's Daredevil series and Netflix's Daredevil series, I think it's Charlie Cox, stars him. Oh my gosh, I'm having such a hard time with names today. I can see her face. She was Juliet on the one with Leonardo DiCaprio. I cannot remember. Claire Danes. And it's got Robert De Niro and a whole bunch of others that are kind of just blended in there. Excellent movie, fun movie about a land across the wall. So encourage you to check that out. Finally haven't been playing a whole lot lately, and it's just because I've been enjoying doing other things. And so, but one thing that I finally got to play, I got this game a couple years ago, and it sat on my shelf, and I've wanted to play, and my son Zeke has really wanted to do Dungeons and Dragons, and I knew this would be a good little introduction into it. We played the Bureau of Balance. The Bureau of Balance is based on the Adventure Zone's Bureau of Balance campaign. It is kind of like Dungeons and Dragons, but it's much more linear, and you can be played in like 45 minutes. I thought it was here. I used to be right there on my shelf. But you have a deck of cards that you kind of go through, and it tells the story, and you have to fight the bad guys. So anyways, it's been fun. It was a fun story-driven game, the Bureau of Balance. So if you're looking for that, definitely check it out. I don't remember there being anything particularly adult on there, but that doesn't mean that it didn't exist. It's just I don't remember there being anything in there, but there are some nerdy recommendations for you. What are you reading? What are you watching? What are you playing? What recommendations would you have? Drop them in the comments below. I would love to shout those out on the next episode. Speaking of comments, on our last episode, I had a friend of mine ask about Batman comics and where to begin. And if you want to see our discussion there, some of the recommendations, definitely check that out. Yeah, and Brody, if you're listening, one I just finished that you may enjoy, and it is on sale right now at Ollie's for like $3. It's the book Heroes in Crisis. Heroes in Crisis follows the idea of what would happen if there was a sanctuary for superheroes who are dealing with PTSD and other stresses from losing loved ones and being reborn and brought back to life, resurrected. That's what I was looking for. Like what would that look like? And so it is definitely a mental, emotional, trauma heavy book. And so it was definitely a different kind of read. But I thought it was really good. So that's Heroes in Crisis. Again, on sale at Ollie's for like $3 right now. That's where I got it. But yeah, so without further ado, we're going to go ahead and jump into our interview. Remember, this is a somewhat truncated one. I will have the full interview in a couple days as a kind of bonus episode, but I hope you guys enjoy my conversation with Seth talking about the Dark Glory War. Well, like I mentioned earlier at the top of the show, I've got my buddy Seth here, aka White Fox. White Fox. Here he ran our Dungeons and Dragons campaign in the world of Xenellia, which, as I was reading this book, I was like, boy ripped everything off this dang book. That's just what he did. But
not everything, but a lot.
Listen, which I enjoyed. It was like, oh man, if I would have known, like I could have read this and be like, I know what's coming next. Like this is coming up soon. But he's also the one of the hosts of the RPG Rundown, one of the LTN Love Thy Nerd podcast shows, which we'll get to that in a little bit. And just a guy I enjoy hanging out with and talking. Also, he has a BattleTech podcast and does all kinds of things. You are a creator, like I'm a creator. Like let's just make something. Let's figure it out. So, how you doing, bud?
I'm doing great. We're in the midst of summer, and so that means the kids are home. Trying to not do anything.
Yes.
And me trying to force them to do things that they don't want to do.
Okay.
But other than that, yeah, things are great.
That's awesome. I have checklists that they have to do. The only one that has any punishment attached to it is my middle son. And if he doesn't get his checklist done, he doesn't get screen time the next day. Now, the converse with that is he would play 8 hours of Fortnite if I'd let him play 8 hours of Fortnite. He's not played recently because he's already at level 205 on this season that started 3 weeks ago. But I was like, golly, son, like, why do you do the things you do? But he's also my one that loves checklists. And so he gets up at like 6:15 in the morning and gets started on his checklist. He's like, I got to get my chores done. I got to get my reading done. But I get it. I've
got a mental checklist, but I need to put it on paper for them.
Listen, I'll send you my checklist. I'll send it to, and it's not like crazy stuff. It's like read for 30 minutes in the morning, read for 30 minutes in the evening.
Oh no. Yeah. They have those things that they're supposed to do for sure. So
I'll send you what I got. So Seth, two opening questions we typically do is what's something that's life-giving, it's like a good highlight in your life right now, it's exciting, and then what are some nerdy things that you are enjoying currently? And that can be any genre of nerdy thing. It could be whatever. So what's life-giving right now, and what's some other nerdy interests you have besides the Dark Glory War, which is what we're talking about today?
Yeah, so like you mentioned, the podcasts that I do are kind of the main extra thing that are bringing me enjoyment right now. I've been on summer break for the RPG Rundown. We are getting ready to start that back up. I have been super excited about Daggerheart, which is an RPG that just came out. And I actually did some content with another podcast called The Pocket Dimension for that. And then we also have a partnership with a company based out of the UK that is getting ready to release a new RPG system in August. And so I'm doing a little content around that. And then on top of that, BattleTech stuff is just always going on. I don't get to play as much as I want, but I enjoy nerding out about the lore and chatting with some of my friend groups who also are part of that. And we'll do some recording for that too. So, and then just, general gaming.
Nice.
But, otherwise it's just been summer activities with the fam. We just had 4th of July. I went to camp with my son for the first time in a long time. And so, yeah, it's been a lot, but great.
Nice. Very nice. I'm glad to hear that, man. I'm glad to hear that. I heard this take on a podcast. It was saying that we should change, even though July 4th, 1776 is like an important date. We should change it to always on a Friday, like observed on a Friday. That a Tuesday 4th of July is not nearly as fun as a Friday 4th of July. What are your thoughts?
I have a solution for that.
Yeah. What's that?
We just take the whole week off.
Perfect. Yes. I'm with you.
I mean, look.
We get 2
adults
weeks
don't
of
get spring break.
That's right.
Adults don't get spring break. Adults don't get Christmas break unless you are in a job where you can take some PTO. And the 4th of July is a celebration for the nation. So that should be the 1 week. We just take it off.
I know several companies that is what they do. Like I had a friend that used to work at a construction company, and so they can't just have people taking vacation off, and so they have set weeks. You have this week off. You have this week off, and it's the week of Christmas, and it's the week of 4th of July. So I like it. I think it's good.
Yeah.
Well, we're not here to talk about 4th of July. We're here talking about The Dark Glory War by Michael Stackpole. If you buy the book and you look at the cover, you'll think this must have been created in the 80s. Like, this is definitely an 80s book with the cover art. But no, it was in, 2003, 2004?
2000.
Okay, 2000. And so I got the book because you recommended it. So I'm going to let you take it away. Like, why is this book
absolutely
like an amazing book? Why did you recommend it? Why is it on your highlight list? All those things. Tell me your story.
So I found this book for two reasons. One, the author, Michael A. Stackpole, is one of my favorite authors. I have had the opportunity to meet him in person last year, actually, at Gen Con. He is a Battletech author, which, again, is one of my favorite sci-fi IPs ever. In fact, at this point, I'm a little Star Wars'd out, so Battletech's the number one right now. But he also wrote for Battletech. He wrote all the old 90s X-Wing books, and he wrote Battletech books from the 80s. So the 80s and 90s were like Battletech and Star Wars and other stuff. And then I think he had this story kind of simmering in the background. But it got published in 2000. And this was the first book. It is a prequel to a trilogy. Very similar to Lord of the Rings.
So why is it a prequel to a trilogy
have The Hobbit,
and not just a quadrilogy?
You know, I think because of the time skip. I think, and I don't know exactly how he wrote it. Like maybe the story, and then he was like, I'm gonna write the first part first, or maybe he wrote this and was like, now let's jump ahead.
I got you.
So many years.
Yeah.
Roughly 20 years.
Okay.
Is kind of how far 20 something years in the future. So the author is one of my all-time favorite authors, and I've loved his Battletech books, his Star Wars books. He has some other fantasy books that are fantastic. Great author. Second, where I grew up going to the library book sale once a year, where they would sell all the books that did not hadn't been checked out in so many months or whatever, and so found this. And found out that it was I recognized the author, which I was excited for, and it was the beginning of a trilogy and stuff. And I probably got it in the early 2000s, so not too long after it came out.
Okay.
And it's so good. It's so good. It is definitely the prequel to an epic saga, which is what the trilogy is, almost Lord of the Rings style, but not very similar necessarily in the world or anything. And the author's just a great world builder. He's built a phenomenal world. It's very different from your traditional fantasy. It's not dwarves and elves and men. There are elves, but there's elves and men, but there's no dwarves. There's a lot of other custom things. I think modern day now, I would talk about like Sanderson in the same way, where it's like a very different, non-traditional fantasy setting. But this is the one that pulled me in, a long time ago. So you got the book. We were talking about this because I have not read the first book of the trilogy yet, because I picked up a book at a very similar sale that was a quarter. That was like 750 pages, excellent book. And you're like, oh, that's exactly how I found all these books. You picked it up, you read it. Give us kind of the elevator pitch. What is this book about? So The Dark Glory War is a prequel to the trilogy that is called the Dragon Crown War Cycle, because we've just got to go ahead and call it something else. But it's the setting. It sets the stage for this epic fantasy saga. It blends a coming of age kind of theme with some military fantasy, dark sorcery, and tragic heroism. And I say tragic heroism because that's kind of this book is the tragic heroism tale, setting up the saga. The saga itself, like the trilogy, isn't so much as tragic. Okay. The group, these young men, they embark on a fantastic journey, and they are, like I said, they basically encounter this kind of monstrous creature. It attacks them. They survive it. They kill it, and it's this killing it in and of itself is an achievement. And so they are instantly thrust into the forefront of this calamity that is befalling all of the nations of the world. But other than me using elements from this book for the D&D campaign,
Yes.
and loving the way that he created this world, I was super excited for you to read this book, CJ, because I don't have very many people to talk to about the book. So what is it? So tell me, did you like the book?
I did. So I think it was a great book. I think what I really enjoy character development. Like when I watch a movie, if I don't like it, like I couldn't stand. I did not care for the Avengers movies nearly as much as everyone else did because there's no character development. The development happened in the other movies, and then they came together. And so I was like, I don't really. This doesn't cook my grits. You know, it doesn't butter my biscuit. Like I need some good character development, with this, there was a lot of that, which is really good to see this development in these characters. So I thoroughly enjoyed it. Some of my favorite scenes, if you will.
Let's get to them.
Yeah, so one of them, they're in the middle of these, I picture it as swamps. And again, I was reading while I was at the beach with my kids, so I may have missed like huge key details. But they're in this swamp. And there's this bridge that they're trying to destroy. Their mages are trying to destroy this bridge, and they can't. And they realize the reason why they can't is their magic only works on non-living things, and so there must be something living about this bridge. And then this creature
hold on, side note really fast.
You're good.
The magic system in this book is also phenomenal. And that's and that, the humans who are with the party realize that their magic can't affect living creatures, and that is something that's very important as the story progresses because, it's almost like humans have their own magic, elves have their own magic, and or Zethi have their own magic. And so, yes, continue. The humans cannot affect it because it's not.
Gotcha. Okay.
No, it's not dead.
I gotcha. It's not dead. So this little creature, I picture it coming out of the bridge. And coming up to him, and it begins talking to them, and Scranewood, who is this hoity-toity, uptight prince, wants them to kill it immediately because it's evil and it's mentally handicapped or whatever else. Like the way he's describing it, this is useless. And then you have Nay, who is probably experience those kind of feelings because he's more of the brute to the the opposite side of the coin to Terran, who is very much thinking, strategy, calculating, planning, and then you have Nay, who's just kind of the muscle. And so Nay comes forward and begins talking to this creature and realizes, no, it's not mentally deficient. It's a child. It's young.
Yeah.
And begins talking to it and explaining to it like someone would explain to a child that, this bridge, you need to go. You need to be destroyed, and we understand that that's a big sacrifice from you. And the creature,
the spirit of the bridge.
Yes, the spirit of the bridge.
Yeah.
And it ends up agreeing and saying, "You're right. This is wrong. I should exist no longer." And then the bridge crumples, and everyone realizes the sacrifice except Scranewood. And he's
of course.
And so, but the linking of Nay's, I'm sure feelings that he is not the smartest one there, that he is less than, being able to step in and actually make an impact. I thought was I read that scene. And I told Kara, I said, I know why Seth likes this book. This scene, that was one.
That's one. Yeah, there's so many, but that's a fantastic scene. And yeah, Nay is, like you said, he's the strong, silent type.
Yes.
He's massive. He's this massive guy. He carries around a hammer, kind of thing. He's got those blacksmith roots. His family's a blacksmith, and so he's a blacksmith, and so. But yes, he's able to, without having to destroy it, to convince this spirit of the bridge that if the bridge continues, bad armies are going to come and make more people bleed, and that we need to stop that. But what's amazing is that this spirit of the bridge entrusts itself to Nay.
Yes.
And so then Nay has this keystone that is the spirit of the bridge, and it goes with them. And man, I can't even tell you because there's more things to come. But But even after that, right? So that happens. They do that. That's on their way to Fortress Draconis. And when they get to Fortress Draconis, what does Nay do with said keystone?
He puts it in a weapon to give to Terrence, and uses
Yeah.
pieces of Temur. Is that right?
Nope.
Oh,
Nope.
I
It's
thought
just
it was-
it's fully forged. It's fully forged on its own with the keystone, and the keystone is basically what gives that.
I
magic.
gotcha.
So,
I for some reason thought that he had taken the hilt from Temur because that was right after Temur was destroyed.
so right. So yeah. So spoiler. In the final battle at Fortress Draconis, part of the curse of Timur, the magical sword, which is why Scranewood was like, "Well, just use Timur and kill this thing, and let's go." But the final battle is supposed to break Lay, and Lay, he basically fails and is too afraid of a certain one of the Sullinsiri, who imbues fear, essentially as a weapon. And Tarrant and one other guy are the only guys that stand up to the fear of this creature, which is basically an undead giant. And Tarrant is like, Lay, you've got to come. You're the only one with a magical weapon. You've got to save us. And he can't. He can't do it. And so Tarrant has to make this, it's got to be an incredibly hard decision to mentally break his best friend by taking the sword from him and going to save everyone else. But because Tarrant takes it not for his own personal glory, but to save everyone else, he's able to slay this undead giant, but then the sword breaks into multiple pieces. And so, yes, that is also something to come later.
Yes. So that was one of my favorite scenes. Another one involved another one of the Sullinsiri that had this bow that couldn't miss its mark. And so
yes.
that whole battle scene is really exciting. It reminded me of Yondu from Guardians of the Galaxy. And
Kind of, yeah.
yeah, that was kind of the feel.
Because the
there.
arrows they
Yes,
move in.
yes.
Yes, absolutely.
But the scene I'm talking about is when they are on the ship and Terrant throws it in the water, and then they all begin making their sacrifices. I thought that was also a really...
Before he, yeah. Because he finally has a magical weapon, right? Like, that's the whole thing, is that they didn't have magical weapons, but he finally has this magical bow. He even uses it to sight in on the spirit of the ocean, essentially, to say, I probably couldn't kill you, but I could hurt you. And but then he says, so, makes the sacrifice. He gives it as an offering to the spirit of the ocean, so they can pass safely.
And again, Scranewood doesn't get it.
Nope. Nope. Sure doesn't.
So, but that just scene of seeing what was most important to each of them and how they gave the way they gave. I thought it was another just excellent scene. Excellent scene.
Oh yeah.
And I will save the rest of them because they're near the end of the book, like some of those other ones. So you have to read the book to figure out the rest of those scenes. And then you can tell me, hey, CJ, I read that book. Let's talk about it now. Your scenes post... Well, I won't even get into the ones... There's one scene that's during the fight at Fortress Draconis. But anyways, I will go into those because I don't want to ruin it for you. I want you to read it. Really well done. Really well done. Great character development. One of the things...
That just means we're going to have to wrap up so we can talk about it.
That's right. So one of the things that I finished and I was like kind of at first disappointed with until I was doing a little more research was I felt that there wasn't... I incorrectly felt that there wasn't enough growth with Tarrant from the beginning of the book to the end of the book. Emotionally. I felt like he was kind of where he was...
Interesting.
And then I had to think like, this is a shorter span of time. But when he leaves, I was looking at specifically emotional strength. I mean, he's emotionally strong at the beginning, emotionally strong at the end. And as I was doing some research, it was talking about the destroying of innocence, of the difference between the glory of war and the reality of war. And then I was going, okay, I see the growth arc that's happening here. Like I see that now, because at the beginning we see him as this guy who is a great friend, who loves his friends, who cares for his friends, who is full of honor, who wants to be there beside so that's who he is the whole book. You know what I mean? Whereas Lay has his up and downs. Nay, we see move from this
lots of growth in Nay to
Yes.
accept that he actually can contribute when he thinks he is just, he's down here at the bottom and it's okay. He's okay with his place there, but he's able to rise to being thrust into higher situations for sure. And so no, I could definitely see in part that Terrence might not have had the most growth over this book. And yes, I know you immediately were like, I need to know if Terrence is in the other books. Which I hope you didn't.
I just briefly. But my biggest beef, the things that I don't like, is in a series of books when we skip from this main character to these characters that I've never heard of. Like it drives me crazy. And so I was like, I before I even buy this next book, I need to see if I'm going to. So like perfect examples of this, the fourth Dune book that goes 10,000 years in the future and everyone's still there in the past.
Well, of course.
You know, like it's like I was following Paul. Like I don't want to follow these children that have morphed into a sandworm. So like those books. There's a series I read. I read Magic 2.0, and the first like 4 books are all the same characters, and then the 5th book is all new characters. And I'm like, I don't want to read this. I like these other characters.
Now, I will tell you that it will be a while. Not a while. It's fairly quick, but I will tell you that it takes a couple of chapters for you to start to see some of the same characters, because the time jump from this book to the trilogy is 20 plus years. Okay. Now one character obviously who's going to be there is Resident, because he's an elf.
Right.
So, elves, live forever. He's going to be there. But when in finishing this book, you also know that the main group of heroes are not going to be there.
Yes.
In the same way.
Yes.
There's a massive spoiler of why. And they're going to be there, but you don't know how, and you don't.
Yeah.
But it's not going to be in any positive way.
Right.
With Tarrant, I will say, and I just kind of made this connection. The breaking of innocence is literally between the first line and the last line. And the first line of the book is, "The day they gave me my mask was the first day I felt truly alive."
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
And then the last line is, "The day they took my mask was the day Terrence Hawkins died."
Yep.
Boom.
Yep.
Incredible book ending.
Yes.
And again, it was like it was all this experience that happened to then basically be failed at the end, and it's the shattering of his innocence, essentially, because to that point he trusted people, he trusted all these adults, he made all the right decisions, for honor, not for, and at the end he's betrayed, not by everybody, but by the people that matter at the time.
Significantly.
Yeah. So
there was that growth, which was good, and I really hope that he plays a key role in.
He does.
Good. Funny enough, if you try to do any kind of Chat GPT search to help you with your research for an episode like this, it does not say Tarrant; it says Tiro, Tiro. So I don't know where it got that name from.
Well, ChatGPT is wrong. When I searched on Copilot, and it gave me all the names correctly. So
well, there we go.
Maybe use Copilot.
Maybe. But I was like, who the heck is Tiro? Is that like from the next series? And I'm like, scanning. I was like, no, I don't know who this is. So I'm sure maybe it picked an audio file and it sounded like they were saying Tiro, but it was Tarrant. I don't know. In addition to the shattering of innocence and that, they want to be part of the battle, want to be part of the fighting, and kind of as they go through war, like they're all jacked up in either physically, emotionally, like whatever. But also there is this constant theme of betrayal, loyalty and betrayal. Loyalty and betrayal is kind of just a ribbon through it. And you had mentioned one in particular, and so the question that I found was, of these betrayals, like what do you think some of the hardest were, and were there any that were justified? And so you mentioned Tarrant taking Temur from Lay, and
Yeah.
that was probably a very difficult betrayal, and also
I think that
justified.
and was justified for sure. I, having read all of them, I can tell you one at the end is both difficult and justified.
Okay, listen, I'm going to read them. I will.
Yeah.
I'm just in the middle of Dodo, so I've got to get through
No,
Dodo,
I get it.
and then
yeah, the last one, that Tarrant, you might say, betrays. The last betrayal by Tarrant is one that is important
okay,
and justified.
okay,
But you won't find that out until book 4.
4. Like,
Yeah,
this trilogy
book
better
4.
not have 4 books. That's all I gotta say. That trilogy should have 3 books.
No.
There, yeah.
Well, book 4 of the 4 books.
Yes. The final book.
The final book. But it's fantastic, and I can tell you this, with it's not a spoiler. So the first book is written in the first person.
Okay.
Which is honestly fantastic. Like I think it takes a very talented writer to pull that off. But it is, the whole thing is in first person. It's like I threw back my blanket, and with only the crackle of the straw mattress, but so yeah. Great. The other books are not.
Okay.
However, in the last book, there's a time period where Tarrant has free time. And basically, the author writes it in that he starts writing his memoirs and the book that he writes.
Yes. Nice.
Which is fantastic. I love that. Ties it all in.
This is
So.
from Dodo, so it's not this book, but it was something that I thought was really interesting. Is they're writing from the perspective of one of the main characters, like pretty much like you only hear her thoughts, like what she's thinking. And so when
Right.
you need to know the other people's thoughts for the story, they come in the form of journals or articles or letters, and I thought that was really neat. Like it's like instead of saying just switching perspective and going, oh, now we're gonna talk about this character, I thought it was pretty neat. Well, let's do some little quick this or that's, and so you can pick either one and justify either way. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 of them. So first one is this: would you rather wield Temur? We'll say that you don't have the soul stealing whatever of that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we'll because that puts a real damper on the whole thing.
It's a real damper on Temur.
So would you rather wield Temur or the Sullen series bow?
Honestly, that's tough because I definitely grew up with the swashbuckling, stories and movies. It's where swordsmanship is key. That said, Robin Hood is also one of my favorite characters. I'd probably have to go with the bow.
We'll also remove the idea, because he said that he didn't really want to use the bow because it would ruin his instinct. Let's say it removes that as well. Like you're still
right. Magic. So magic bow, magic sword.
Yes.
Magic bow. Honestly.
Listen, I think I would agree. Even though one of my favorite fantasy characters is Driss Do'Urden, and he is all about those scimitars. I really think I would rather have a bow. I really think I would. Death from a distance.
Yeah.
That sounds. And especially, too, with the number of
exactly.
tricks you can do. Like, oh, I'm going to shoot you, but I'm going to aim this way, and it's going to come around. Yeah, that would be...
I mean, there's utility in it, too. I got to shoot this arrow across a gorge and, with a rope tied to it. But you know what? Magic bow.
Yes. It's going to happen. Yeah.
It's going to happen.
Yeah, so I agree. I think that's the better one. All right, so would you rather be able to wield magic or have the level of instinct that you get from Temur?
I think that I would probably rather have the instinct.
Okay.
Honestly.
I got you.
I love the magic system in this universe, in this world that Stackpole has created. But I think the instinct, because then it's like the instinct also could apply to other things. Just in general, it could apply to more than just the swordsmanship. It could apply to a battle. It could apply to, I don't know. I just feel like the instinct would be the easier.
I got you.
Not easier, but the more true. I don't know.
So, and help me remember. So, because magic's in like 13 things that I've read lately. The idea with the untying of magic, that was from this book, right? That you had to understand how a knot was tied to be able to untie it when there were things that were happening.
Yes. And so that is one thing. And the magic in this book is low. I mean, there's a fair amount of it in the latter half of it, but the magic in the rest of the books is a little higher because it's almost like, oh, now we're having to get into this where we need magic, and so we have to discover magic in different ways. Yes, so essentially, like I said, I love the magic system. Elves, humans, and Urzethi all have different magic, and it's cool. It's just it describes them in different ways. Whereas in human magic, I think of them also in colors. So I feel like human magic is very like angular and constructed lines, and then elven magic is like green and flowing, growing vines in nature, and then Urzethi is like almost like dark black, and it's like smoke is what they describe it as. And so they're all distinct, right? And they all have different functionality, if you will. But yeah, so one of the cool things is that they say basically like magic can kind of be undone. In D&D you'd say counterspell, right?
Right.
So basically there's an instance in the book where the elves have healed people, and the big baddie undoes it. And it's devastating. Like genuinely devastating.
Right.
And so that is something that comes up in the trilogy as well. So
Well, I have the first book of the trilogy, so I'm ready to go.
Yeah, you are.
I think I'd probably take magic. The idea of understanding and seeking, and like that interests me, intrigues me, yeah, I think that would be good. Next question: if you had to pick a single companion from this book, not including Terrence, because you are Terrence. Yes,
that's true. That's true.
So, which companion are you taking?
Oh.
And again,
That's
it doesn't just have to be the original
Right,
group.
right.
It could be anybody that they've encountered.
Yeah, really tough. Nay is awesome. Love him to death. That said, I have a little bit of fondness for Augustus, who is another prince, but he is the morally upstanding prince.
Right.
In the party. And then I mean, Resolute's not bad either.
Yeah.
Because Resolute has a lot of strengths in certain areas, but he's not, especially if I'm Terrant, right? And I can identify with Terrant. Like I'm definitely better at talking than I am at doing the things that Resolute can do, right?
Right.
So, Resolute can be the muscle and I can be the mouthpiece, right? So, but Nay could do that too. So yeah, I don't know. It's tough. I think.
So here was my thought. So Resolute felt more like an ally than a companion.
True.
They're in a battle, there to help. But if I'm wanting to build a relationship and grow closer together and really have a friendship, I lean towards Nay. And I'm thinking if
100%.
And so like I was on the same fence. It's like, Resolute is
the other person, and I just thought of this, would be Prince Carol.
Okay.
Obviously, we know what happens to Prince Carol. But
yes,
he to me was the only other truly genuine person that embraced Terrant as a friend.
Yeah.
Besides Nay.
Yeah.
So.
I'm still taking Nay though.
Oh, Nay's fantastic.
I think he would laugh at all my jokes too. I think he definitely would. I think he would laugh at all my jokes.
Yeah. He would.
Yeah.
He would.
He would keep me grounded.
Sure.
I need somebody who's going to keep me grounded. So yeah.
Yep.
Last question: Ageless, Vorkelf, or Urzethi? Like which one? Where are you wanting to fall?
Well, in the lore of the books, the Vorquelves are exiled exiled elves. They are unbound from their homeland. They don't don't get to be in their homeland. They don't have the sense of accomplishment that that traditional elves have, because there are traditional elves too. Urzethi, on the other hand, I don't know. I just kind of think they're dang cool. I'm gonna have to go with Urzethi, honestly.
Nice.
And part of it is the shapeshifting, because that's cool.
Yes.
Shapeshifting is cool. They also have magic. They can do healing magic too. It's not just elves. Humans are the only ones that can't do healing magic.
Losers.
But it's different, I know, right? But yeah, Urzethi are like the child. Again, they kind of look like children to most people who haven't seen them. So it's a little confusing to some of the characters, but they shapeshift, and they are like dwarves in that they make these incredible mountain havens. Dig out the inside of the mountain. They're dwarf-like in that regard. Their culture is dwarf-like, but not the brusque, kind of thing. And so yeah, I really like the Urzethi, I think, more than the Vor.
I got you. I'm trying to remember the name of the one, the Dwergar from the first trilogy in Dristor's story, but he had his hands cut off, and so they had mounted on them a pickaxe on one and a hammer on the other that were enchanted. And so I always get that picture where they're changing their I can't remember his name, though. I'll have to look that up. Whatever his name
I couldn't tell you. I only read 1 or 2 of those books.
Man, listen, like, you're talking about reading 15
classics. I know.
Man, I read. I'm going back through them too. I started. I tried to get my son to read one, and he's like, "Yeah, they're great, Dad. Thanks." I was like, "You don't even understand. You're a." Oh my gosh. Last thing I want to talk about is I want to talk about the RPG Rundown. So tell us about RPG Rundown, and whatever that looks like, and tell us where we can find it.
Quick rundown, because I probably am running up. But yeah, so the RPG Rundown is tabletop RPG podcast and video podcast for Love Thy Nerd. So basically, it's a TTRPG podcast, a video podcast on YouTube. We basically cover and review different TTRPG systems that are out there, because there are a lot more than just D&D.
Yes.
And so that was kind of how it started. We try some of these. And so yeah, we've covered quite a few. We've covered some really big ones. The most recent one we did at the end of last season, Daggerheart, which is the Critical Role TTRPG that just launched. Very cool. And so what we'll do is we'll cover it. We'll try to play it, and then once we play it, we'll give it a critical. And that's critical is an acrostic, CRIT.
I think it's an acrostic.
ICAL.
Yeah.
It all stands for something. And so it's our critical review system. Review it. The year previous, we were doing some that were popular in the news, but they were all in beta. And so last season, we were like, well, we're going to do one actually released now. So that's the goal moving forward.
Okay.
But yeah, it's a lot of fun. Supposed to start again in August, and we'll be every couple weeks.
Nice.
So.
And are you guys still the #1 LTN podcast?
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
I haven't looked, but I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Okay. I'm gonna say yes, because the last one we did for Daggerheart, I'm pretty sure it's at like 10K views.
Nice.
Or something.
Nice.
It blew up. We got 50 plus comments. Yeah, like thousands of views, which was pretty cool.
Very nice. So. Very nice. Well, very cool. Well, Seth, if they wanted to, my massive audience of probably you and me and my mom, if they wanted to connect with you on social media, what are the ways they can do that?
Yeah, so you can follow me personally on social media, on X, aka Twitter. It is at WhiteFoxSG. You can follow the RPG Rundown. It is at the RPG. And that one you can find pretty much everywhere. So it's on X, it's on Instagram, it's on some of the others out there. Yeah, you can follow those. And so, yeah, I'd love to chat about anything and everything, right? Video games,
Yes.
books, movies, RPGs. So
All those things. Well, awesome, man. We'll do a follow-up when I finally finish the second book, and we'll continue from there.
awesome. And then in the meantime, we can like just start sending me messages of things when you think about it. Like, oh, what about this? Like, this
Yes.
guy was awesome, or
Yes.
or what the heck
Yes.
about this kind of
Oh,
thing.
yeah.
So
Well, listen, we did that the whole time before. Like, me knowing that you were going to text me in the next 3 days to ask how I was doing, I was like, I got to keep reading because he's going to ask.
I know.
It was helpful. It was helpful.
I tried not to bug you too much, but I mean, you're done with it now. So I am probably going to later be like,
it worked.
later,
Yeah.
later I'm going to be like, hey, so
Yes.
yeah.
Yes. Oh, man.
So-
Well, man, I appreciate you coming on, man, and I'll talk to you some more soon.
Awesome. Appreciate it. Talk to you later.
So just to, utilize you guys, my audience, as I am preparing several little projects, articles that I would like to write for Love Thy Nerd. I've got a Bible Thump episode that's coming up soon, also on Love Thy Nerd, and just my desire to think and interact creatively with Christian content, with Scripture, with Christian living ideas and all those kind of things, and how to take those and harmonize them with my nerdy interests. I had a couple ideas that I want to kind of to talk about a little bit, to share, to get your input on. And I really want to look at the armor of God, which we find in Ephesians chapter 6. And Paul is using the analogy of a Roman soldier, the greatest trained army at that time, easily recognizable by anyone in that time. And he took pieces of a Roman soldier's armor and used that to communicate spiritual truth. And so he talked about the belt of truth, right? That it was this thing that was fastened around a soldier's waist and kept their tunic intact so that they wouldn't trip on it, so that it would keep them from stumbling, and how the truth of God's word will keep us from stumbling. Knowing what is true helps us to keep from stumbling, right? And so he used that piece. And then he talked about the breastplate of righteousness, right? The breastplate that would cover all the vital organs, and how that righteousness is not our righteousness, because our righteousness is full of holes. But when we exchange our righteousness for the righteousness of Christ, that it protects us, that it protects all of our vital organs, because we don't rely on ourselves, or we don't rely on our skin to protect us. We rely on what Christ has done for us, his death on the cross, his perfect life is a sacrifice as an exchange for our broken life, that we rely on that. And we hold true and go into battle knowing that we're protected because of that. We talk about the feet shod, or feet wearing sandals of the gospel of peace, that we can walk wherever we need to walk, that we don't have to take our steps carefully, because the gospel of peace, the peace that we have in Christ, directs us, and we walk and we go without having to slow down. How the helmet of the hope of salvation, that we know that we are saved, we know that we are protected, and so we don't have to worry about a single blow coming to our heads and taking us out of the fight. That we know that we are protected, that we have that hope, that we know it's coming. Not a hope like I hope it doesn't rain, but a hope like I can put my trust in that salvation. We have the shield of faith that we can use to extinguish the fiery arrows of Satan, that we can hold that shield firm, and when things come at us that are defamatory, that are discouraging, that are belittling, that are damaging, that we can have that shield and know that we have faith in Christ, we have faith in God, and those things can come, but it's going to extinguish those arrows, because no matter what's said, we know who we are with Jesus. So shield of faith. Did I get those backed up? Anyways, I think the last one is the sword of the Spirit, the word of God, which we use as sharper than any two-edged sword. That we use the word of God in order to fight against our foe, fight against Satan. That we trust in his word and know his word and use that to both cut and heal. And so, thinking about the armor of God, right? So we have these different pieces. And so I have really like 2 prompts I want to leave you with that I would love some feedback on that would help me. And so there are 2. Number 1, I really would love to develop a picture of those pieces. Helmet, breastplate, shield, sword, belt, feet shod with the gospel piece. I would love to have pieces from sci-fi, video game, fantasy movies. Like the picture I had was like the Tron helmet. You know what I'm talking about? Like it looks like the really weird, like creating a set of armor from pieces from pop culture, sci-fi, fantasy, nerddom to create this new armor of God. It's all the same pieces, all the same meanings, but pulling pieces from other fandoms to build that. And so I would love some feedback there. What would you take as the helmet? If you're thinking all of nerddom, what would be the helmet? You know, what would you use as the breastplate? What would you use as the shield? Which sword are you going to pick? Would love to have some feedback there to be able to pull some of those things in to write an article talking about that. The other thing I thought about, and please hear me, that this is just a Christian talking with those that are wanting to interact with things of the faith. Definitely not me trying to add to scripture, but Paul wrote this as it was a picture of something that they knew, right? That they knew a Roman soldier, what a Roman soldier looked like, and he used that to communicate truth. And so I was wondering, in today's world, what could we use as an illustration, right? Like, what is that we would go, the things that we would need as a Christian. And I'm going to use a really, just, I think, not the best example, but like, instead of the sword of the Spirit, the cell phone of the Spirit, like I'm only using my Bible app or whatever else. But that's what I mean. It's like something that if I were to say it, someone would know, oh, I know exactly what he's talking about, and I understand the connection he's making. If you could pick a piece of armor or an item, a special item that you found in a dungeon that would allow you to live your Christian life better, what would it be? You know, the hoodie of the hope of salvation. Like, what would it look like? I would love to hear your creative thoughts. What are some things that you would say? This is what I would say. Like, this is the piece, and this is what it would do. If that makes sense. So, what things from nerddom would you use in creating a new set of armor using the same characteristics and same truth that Paul taught, but pulling things from pop culture? And if you were to add something from today's world to that armor, what would it be? And what would this function be? Just some thoughts for you. I appreciate you guys. If you want to read more about the armor of God, again, that's Ephesians chapter 6, towards the end of that. Just a great passage, wonderful passage. So thank you guys for thinking about that with me. I look forward to seeing your comments on this. Thanks. Thank you guys for spending some time with us. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the next episode, which is with one of my favorite people, my brother Sean. We're talking about time travel. I asked him, like, what are you a nerd about? And I was expecting like Lord of the Rings, right? Like a nerd property. And he instead took a nerd concept. He said, let's talk about time travel in general. So like only my brother can do. We talk about nerdy stuff with time travel. So check that out. That's the next episode that is coming out. If you're watching on YouTube, give us a thumbs up, leave a comment. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. That'd be fantastic. If you're listening on Apple, give us 5 stars. So if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, 5 stars, leave a review. We're going to be having a giveaway soon. We're going to give away some stuff based on who has left a review recently. Okay, so make sure you get a review up there so that you can be entered in that drawing. Yeah, and if you want even more Next Gen Nerd stuff, you can go to nextgennerd.com. Right now, it's pretty much the podcast is up there with some notes. You can share all those episodes on social media. That'd be wonderful. You can also find me on Instagram at nextgen_nerd or on Twitter/X at nextgen_nerd. I'm not too active on there, but when I drop stuff, that's where you'll find it. You can also find me on Facebook, CJ Burrows, BURROUGHS, and follow there. And if you need to send me an email, you can send me an email at nextgennerdpodcast@gmail.com. Nextgennerdpodcast@gmail.com. I would love to hear any thoughts, questions, topic suggestions. If you say, hey, man, I love this and I want to talk about it, I would love to have you on to talk about whatever it is you enjoy. So hit me up. It'd be great. And I think that's it for this episode. So until next time.
Peace out, Seacrest.